Hello everyone and welcome back to ENR 153 car project tutorial videos. So we've started creating drawings. We've created the drawing template. We've created some drawings, and we've shown how to utilize that drawing template. Again, it's going to be the same thing today, right? We're going to create a drawing for the chassis plate using the drawing template that we've created in the earlier videos. So I have my SolidWorks open. And I'm going to go to File, New. So I have it. I've added my MCC template. Again, if you missed that step, please go back to one of the previous videos where I go ahead and I show the. I believe at the end of the drawing template video, the video where we create the drawing template, I go in there and I add that template in one of the file locations. So in order to utilize that template. So I'm going to go ahead and select my MCC drawing, click OK. Right now, so it's asking me to insert a model, right? We can do this if I go to View Layout. I can click Model View, and that's where that menu shows up. I'm going to go ahead and browse. So I'm going to go to my car project, car parts 1, and I have my chassis plate. I'm just going to browse for that part. So let's see, I want my top view, and let's leave it at hidden lines removed. Gonna click OK. One thing I want to do is I want to change my scale. So if I right click, go to properties, I'm gonna change that scale to 1:1. Again, that shows up. I have an issue with my SolidWorks where sometimes that pops up, but I know I have my drawing template in there, so if I hit cancel, it actually goes back and picks it up. Since I have the space and the way I want to dimension it, if I follow the drawing, I want to just show the top view. And I'm going to scale it 1:1. Again, I grab the author and the description, right? So you want to make sure those are auto-populated. So if I go to my part file, if I go to File Properties, I have my author filled in and description filled in, and that's where I pulled that data from. Again, I didn't change anything, so I don't need to save. And I'm also going to discard changes in assembly since there's nothing that has changed. So let's go in and actually start dimensioning this. So one thing to point out is we actually utilize an ordinate dimension, right? So we have from a machining aspect, right? So we have this corner as my 0, 0, and everything is relative to that 0, 0. So every point is relative to that 0, again, both x and y directions. So if I go to annotations, if I click on this drop down menu, I get my ordinate dimension. And right here, there's horizontal ordinate dimension and vertical. So let's go ahead and do our horizontal first. So I have my 0, 0, right? So I grab my first edge. I want that edge to be my 0. And right now I can just click any edge to add to that ordinate. So I want to add that dimension. Also want to add this. Want to add that edge. As you can notice, I actually divide this up, right? So I have some in the bottom and some in the top, just because I don't want it to be too crowded. So I'm gonna just follow the drawing from the drawing packet. I'm gonna try and replicate that drawing again. So I'm gonna select my center, and that grabs that dimension. I'm gonna do the same thing here. And I believe that's it. I'm going to just go ahead and double check. So I have my 0 here, I have my 2.437, I have my 3.032, 3.234, I have my 6.172, 6.775, 7.225, and 7.462. So that looks good. I'm just gonna click OK. I'm gonna add another one in the bottom to, again, like I mentioned before, I don't want it to be too crowded. So it's gonna be a horizontal. Again, this is gonna be my 0, 0, right? It's the same. I want to make sure to select the same edge. I don't want to start here. So one thing to point out, right? If I select this point, the line goes through that point only. But if I, again, I'm gonna undo. I'm gonna hold Control Z. And now it took me out of that ordinate. Oh, it's asking me for an update. Remind me tomorrow. So if I can right click on it, on add to the ordinate, and I go back to that menu where I'm adding to it again. So if I, for some reason, if you accidentally hit escape and you're out of it, to go in, if you want to modify and add dimensions to that ordinate, you right click and you just hit add to ordinate. And then smart dimensions is toggled on, with the ordinate dimension being the active command. So if I select this one, actually goes through both of them again, and that's when you start thinking about, right, your design intent, even for drawings, right? You want to be as clear as possible, creating that drawing. So you want to make sure these two are on the same line, and that basically that line shows that both two holes or points are on that same line. Again, replicate the same thing here. Gonna do that. We're adding this point to the bottom. And we have that edge, these 2 points, and that edge. And then again, my overall dimension, I'm just going to select that edge. It's 8 inches. As you guys remember from creating that part, it's 8 by 4. 4 by 8. I'm going to click OK. So I'm done doing my horizontal ordinate dimension. So let's go again. Let's go back and do the vertical side, right? And again, we're going to do the same thing again, same process. We're not going to overcrowd one side, right? We're going to do it on both sides just to make sure it's neat when we actually delivering that drawing. For if someone is going to machine it, he can easily go and identify any hole and any dimension he's looking for. So again, I'm going to click on that drop down menu, and it's going to be a vertical ordinate dimension in this case. I'm going to select this edge. I'm going to just drag it out, and I have my 0. Same thing here. I have this point. I'm going to select this edge, that point, and you guys notice actually it lines it up nicely here. So, right, SolidWorks does a really good job lining things up and making things very neat. So I'm going to select this edge. Again, just we're basically replicating what that drawing looks like, right? 2.047. Looking at the drawing, we have 3 more dimensions. Have that point, which is 3.375. This point and that last edge. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's just one way to double check your drawing. If you want to create a drawing that matches an existing drawing, one way is to count how many dimensions you have to make sure you have counted or you have applied dimension for every single feature that you would like dimensioned. So let's go ahead, close dialog. we're going to replicate the same thing on this side. So I'm going to do vertical ordinate, and that's my 0, 0. It's going to be 1.188. And I want it to go through both, so I'm going to choose this one, right? Make sure to show that these 2 points are on the same line. These 2 edges. And that last point. And I believe we have a dimension for every single feature on that chassis plate. Just going back and double checking. So I have my dimensions on the top. Let's look on the right side. 1.433. Right, we have a radius here that we're going to add in a bit. 2.297, 2.894, 3.812. And I believe I have all my dimensions, right? Now what I need to do is create the whole callouts and call out the radius for these slots or cutouts. Okay, I'm gonna close dialog. So I'm gonna go to my annotation again, my annotation tab. I'm gonna select the whole call out. The first 2 holes I want to do are these. And then let's do that. I'm just trying to make sure that doesn't overlay on something, right? So I make sure I'm not placing it over a dimension where you can't read that dimension. Just place it in open space, right? I have this. Right, so we have, I believe that's it. We have 8 of the number 18 holes. We have 2 of the number 9s. We have 2 of number 43. Last thing I want to do is let's do smart dimension. I'm just gonna add a note here, that radius. And I want to go in. I'm going to go into my dimension text because I want to make sure that whoever is viewing or reading this drawing knows that that radius is being applied in 4 different places. Space. So 4x, right, that radius value is being applied at 4 different places. I'm going to do the same thing here. Just gonna, if I zoom in, right, I'm just selecting, using smart dimension to just select that radius. Again, if I go to my dimension text, if I click on it, right, I'm in that box. It will go all the way to the left, right, and then it's 4 times space. Well, make sure that's uppercase. That somewhere. Again, let's look at it. So I have my overall dimensions. I have my hole callouts for 3 types of holes, and it calls them out. So I have 8, 2, and 2. I called out the radius for 2 cutouts, right? So there's a 63 thou radius in both places. I have everything, so I have the author and description pulled in. And that will be it for drawing. So I'm gonna go ahead, file, save as, car project, car drawings, chassis plate, and that's when you save it. I already have it saved. So that's it. Thank you for watching.